Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Social Development and Employment. What advice has she received on the success of the government's employment policies?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I have received a lot of advice commending us on our commitment to addressing the employment effects of the recession, particularly for young people.
The Honourable Annette.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Does she agree with the comment that young people are being impacted very seriously by the recession? If so, how many of the 72,000 young people unemployed have been assisted by her employment package, which the government claimed would address the impact of the recession on young people?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, just taking one part of that youth jobs package is that under Job Ops and under Community Max, we have more than 8,000 young people off the unemployment benefit, Mr Speaker, off the unemployment benefit, which is a very different number than the one that the member bandies around, and I think that that's really, really positive.
Question, Mr Speaker. Has she seen the latest figures on her employment initiatives, which show in Auckland, where there are 26,000 young people unemployed, a mere 1,800 have been helped by her package she's just been talking about? On the East Coast, where there are over 5,000 young people unemployed, a mere 629 got assistance. And in Canterbury, where there are almost 10,000 young people out of work, 760 kids got some help from her package, and it's repeated all over New Zealand, that pattern. And is her enthusiasm for the package an example of her statement at the weekend that she is, quote, a girl prone to excesses?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, when it comes to getting people in jobs, then yes, I think we are prone to excesses. We are seeing more young people that would have been on an unemployment benefit if it were not for this government's Job Ops package. We have got more people going through straight-to-work initiatives. We've got more people in industry partnerships. We have put $69.2 million extra dollars just through work and income into helping people into jobs. I think this is a package that has actually been responsive and responsible.
The Honourable Annette King.
What explanation has she given to the Prime Minister as to why her employment initiatives have failed to stem the rise in youth unemployment, now at its highest level since June 1993, in light of his statement that he didn't want to see a repeat of the impact of the recession of the early 1990s on young people?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, actually the Prime Minister congratulates those particularly that work with work and income. When you look at all the projections that were there for what the unemployment benefit levels would be, we are well beneath all of them. From Treasury, from all the economists, from the HAFU, from everything else, we are below those projections and we are getting that number down.
Todd McLeay.
Supplementary question to the Minister. Is the Minister aware of any feedback on the success of Youth Opportunities package?
The Honourable Paula
Mr
Bennett.
Speaker, yes. The Mayor's Task Force wrote to the Prime Minister saying the Youth Opportunities package you announced in August 2009 has been invaluable in providing opportunities for our young people and mitigating the worst effects of the recession. Mr Speaker, I even have a quote that says, quote, I'm delighted that someone is getting our younger generation motivated to contribute to our district again. That was from Clayton Cosgrove, actually, Mr Speaker, who was saying he was delighted with Community Max.
The Honourable Annette King. Order. Honourable Annette King.
Did she toss the Treasury advice on her employment package, which said it would likely have limited impact and represent poor value for money, into her, quote, who gives a damn bin, unquote, the place she said that she puts advice she doesn't agree with? And if so, will she take Treasury more seriously in future?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, the quotes that the member keeps referring to is a letter to the editor, and she is yet to have one actually published, I note, so she's trying to quote mine now. It's kind of cute. I can table it if you like. You can frame it, because you obviously like it so much. Mr Speaker, when it comes to Treasury advice, I'm not the first minister to actually disagree with it, and I'm sure I won't be the last. If we'd actually taken that advice, we would not have over 8,000 young people engaged in these programs that we've had to keep extending, quite frankly, because they're just going so well.
Catherine Delahunty.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. To the Minister for Social Development and Employment, which Peter Saunders did she intend to appoint to advise the Welfare Working Group on welfare and employment? The Peter Saunders whose book, Welfare to Work, she cited in the House last week, or the Peter Saunders she actually appointed who thinks there is a link between low class and low intelligence? And is she aware that these are actually two different people?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I don't see how that's relevant to the actual...
Just one moment. I apologise to the Minister. A question's been asked, and if members want to hear the answer, they need to be a bit more reasonable with the noise level. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, what I will say is exactly what I said last week. There are advice from them and comments from them that I agree with, and there are some that I do not. I am not so narrow-minded that I will actually sit there and only pick out the bits that I do or don't disagree with. I will listen to it all and then make a decision from there. You may not like.
Point of order, the Honourable...
Still don't know who...
Catherine Delahunty. Order.
Which one did she intend to appoint?
Order. Order. The member's question was so long and convoluted, the Minister picked up on one piece of it, and she's entitled to do that. If the member wants a question answered seriously, it's got to be short and concise, or the member gives the Minister the chance to pick up on any bit of it. The Honourable Sir Roger Douglas. Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
I don't like disagreeing with your ruling, sir, but I think that was actually a relatively simple question. Was it Peter Saunders who said this, or Peter Saunders who said that? They were, and the member indicated there were two different Peter Saunders, and the question was, which one did the Minister intend to appoint? It wasn't complicated, and disagreeing with one of the statements, or agreeing with it, actually didn't address the question, which was, which of those two people did she mean to appoint? Because it appears in the House from last week she's appointed someone she didn't mean to.
Order. The member is now... I don't need to have any further assistance on it. With the member's kind clarification, of course, he's shown the question was really barely in order because it was so far removed from advice on employment policies that which person she might have been appointing somewhere would bore virtually no relationship to the primary question. I've dealt with the matter. The Honourable Trevor Mallard, point of order.
Mr Speaker, I think the point that you may have missed, because it was about employment matters, was the purpose of Ms Bennett's appointment.
Order. The question asked, the primary question asked the Minister what advice she had received. The supplementary from Catherine Delahunty asked her which member she had appointed to something. Totally irrelevant to the primary question. I was being kind in not ruling it out, but to expect me then to insist on the Minister answering a particular aspect of the question is not reasonable. Order. The Honourable Sir Roger Douglas.
Mr Speaker, question to the Minister of Social Development and Employment. How can she justify telling a young person offered a job as a trainee landscaper with a productive value of $400 a week that they are not allowed by law to take that job and must instead go on the benefit of just $160 a week?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I'm sure I've never told a young person that they are not to take a job and instead go on the benefit. I'm not sure what the member's referring to.
Question. No. Supplementary question, is it the Honourable Sir Roger Douglas?
Mr Speaker, very clear that there is a minimum wage of $510.
Order, I beg your member's pardon, is this a point of order or is it a supplementary question? There's got to be one or the other. It's an experienced member.
Well, Mr Speaker, I will take a point of order. I'll take a point of order.
The Honourable Sir Roger Douglas, point of order.
Mr Speaker, it's very clear that what the question was about. Someone was offered a job of $400. The Minister of Employment would clearly know that the minimum wage was $510, and that's why, by law, they couldn't take the job. And I was asking how she could justify that.
Order. What I'll
And
invite
put the person on unemployment.
What I'll invite the member to do, because this party has limited number of supplementary questions, is to reword his question to make it consistent with the primary question.